Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going on a deep dive into the world of the Indian pangolin.
Oh, yeah.
You know that creature
Uh,
that looked like a walking pine cone?
yeah.
We'll be journeying across South Asia to uncover what makes this animal so unique and why its future is in jeopardy.
Right.
What's being done to help?
It's a fascinating story, really. Is full of surprising twists and turns.
Okay.
And it all starts with the pangolin's incredible adaptations.
Okay, I got to admit, the first time I saw a picture of a pangolin, I was like, is that thing for real?
Yeah.
Those scales are just mind-blowing.
They are remarkable. Yeah, they are. Those scales are made of keratin,
Wow.
the same stuff as our fingernails, and they provide the pangolin with incredible protection.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a predator trying to bite into that.
Oh, gosh.
It's like trying to chomp on a rock.
Right. It's like nature's own suit of armor.
It is.
But it's not just about defense, is it? I mean, pangolins are known for being expert diggers, too.
You're absolutely right. Their powerful claws are perfect for excavating burrows and tearing into termite mounds and ant hills.
Oh.
Which brings us to their most remarkable feature,
Okay.
their tongue.
Oh, yeah, that tongue. I've heard it can be longer than their body.
In some cases, it can be.
Yeah.
It's incredibly long, sticky, and specifically designed for lapping up ants and termites, their primary food source.
Makes sense.
Think about it.
Yeah.
They can devour thousands of insects in a single night.
Wow. That's some serious pest control.
Yeah, it is.
I'm starting to see why they're called ecological engineers.
Right.
But what does that actually mean in
Yeah.
the context of the ecosystem?
It means their presence, or lack thereof, has a ripple effect throughout their environment.
Okay.
By keeping insect populations in check,
Uh-huh.
they protect forests and crops.
Right.
Their digging also helps aerate the soil, improving its health
Okay.
and supporting plant life.
Got it.
It's a delicate balance.
It makes you wonder what happens to these ecosystems when pangolin populations decline.
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
Research has shown that their absence can lead to imbalances in insect populations.
Oh, wow.
Impacting plant diversity and even affecting the spread of certain diseases.
So they're not just cute and quirky creatures. They're vital players in maintaining a healthy environment.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And yet, despite their ecological importance, Indian pangolins are facing some serious challenges.
Okay.
Primarily, they're victims of their own unique features.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You're talking about the illegal wildlife trade, right?
Yeah.
I've read that their scales are highly sought after for traditional medicine, especially in East Asia.
Sadly, that's a major driver of their decline. There's this persistent but unfounded belief that their scales have medicinal properties.
Right.
This has fueled a devastating trade,
Wow.
pushing them towards extinction.
It's ironic that the very thing that protects them in the wild is what's putting them at risk.
It is.
It seems like a classic case of human exploitation driven by misinformation.
It is.
And the demand isn't just for their scales.
Right.
In some cultures, pangolin meat is considered a delicacy, further increasing the pressure on their populations.
Yeah.
But even beyond poaching,
Uh-huh.
they face another threat:
They do.
habitat loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deforestation, urbanization, agricultural expansion, all these factors are shrinking their natural habitat.
Right.
As forests disappear
Yeah.
and landscapes change.
Mm-hmm.
Pangolins lose their homes.
Oh, okay.
Their food sources become scarce,
Right.
and they're forced into closer proximity to humans,
Right.
which often leads to conflict.
I imagine it also makes them more vulnerable to poaching.
Unfortunately, yes.
And here's another factor that makes their situation even more precarious.
Right.
They have a very low reproductive rate.
They do.
Indian pangolins typically give birth to just one offspring at a time.
Right.
And it takes a significant amount of time for those offspring to reach maturity.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Their gestation period is around 7 months.
Wow.
And the young stay with their mothers for several months after birth, learning essential survival skills.
Oh, okay.
This slow reproductive cycle makes it difficult for their populations to recover from losses caused by poaching and habitat destruction.
It's a sobering reality.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the gloom, I'm eager to hear about the efforts being made to protect them.
Okay.
There's got to be something.
That's what we'll delve into next.
Okay.
Despite these challenges,
Yeah.
there's a glimmer of hope.
Okay.
Dedicated individuals and organizations are working tirelessly to safeguard these remarkable creatures.
Okay, I need that dose of optimism. Let's explore those conservation efforts in more detail.
Yeah. So where do we start with these conservation efforts? Well, on a global scale, The Indian pangolin is listed under Appendix of CITES,
CITES.
the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species.
Oh,
So that sounds like a big deal.
it does.
Does that mean trading these animals or their parts is completely banned?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
It's a crucial step toward curbing the illegal wildlife trade.
Right.
But it's only part of the solution.
Oh.
Enforcing these regulations is a major challenge.
I bet.
And often requires collaboration between multiple countries.
I can imagine. It's not like poachers and traffickers follow international boundaries.
Exactly. That's why efforts are also focused on strengthening law enforcement within the countries where pangolins are found, for example, in Pakistan.
Okay.
Wildlife authorities are increasing their efforts to combat poaching.
What do those efforts look like in practice?
They're conducting more raids on suspected wildlife trafficking operations.
Oh, wow.
Training personnel to better identify smuggled pangolin scales.
Okay.
And even using technology like DNA analysis
Wow.
to track the origins of seized scales.
It's like they're putting together a puzzle, using every tool at their disposal to crack down on this illegal trade.
Yeah.
But what about the demand side of the equation? How do you convince people to stop believing in these myths about pangolin scales having medicinal properties?
You're hitting on a crucial point.
Yeah.
Changing deeply ingrained beliefs
Right.
is a long-term process
I bet.
that requires a multifaceted approach.
Right. It's not just about telling people they're wrong.
Right.
It's about offering alternatives.
Yeah.
And changing perceptions.
Exactly. And that's where education and community outreach come in some areas.
Yeah.
Conservation groups are working with local communities, especially those who have traditionally relied on pangolin poaching to promote alternative livelihoods.
You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
What kinds of alternatives are being offered?
Well, some programs are training former poachers to become pangolin protectors.
Oh, wow.
Utilizing their knowledge of the animals and the terrain to help with monitoring and anti-poaching patrols.
It's almost like turning poachers into guardians.
Yeah.
That's really clever.
It is.
Yeah.
And it often resonates with people who have spent their lives in close proximity to these animals.
That makes sense.
Other programs focus on sustainable agriculture or ecotourism, providing income opportunities that don't rely on exploiting wildlife.
It's inspiring to see how these initiatives are not just about protecting pangolins, but also about empowering communities and creating a more sustainable future.
It's a holistic approach, recognizing the interconnectedness of human well-being and environmental health.
And what about those pangolin sanctuaries we talked about earlier? Are those helping to make a difference?
They certainly are.
Okay.
These protected areas provide safe havens for pangolins where their habitat is safeguarded.
Right.
And poaching is strictly prohibited.
I bet it's a challenge to protect such elusive creatures, especially ones that are mostly active at night.
It is.
Yeah.
But researchers are getting creative, using technology like camera traps and GPS trackers to monitor pangolin movements and identify areas that need extra protection.
So it's like giving the conservationists a secret weapon.
It is.
They can use technology to anticipate where poachers might strike and be one step ahead.
Exactly. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game.
Oh, right.
But these technologies are proving to be invaluable tools in the fight against poaching.
Okay, so we've got global trade restrictions, local law enforcement, alternative livelihoods, protected areas, and high-tech monitoring.
Right.
It sounds like a pretty comprehensive approach, but is it enough?
It's a great start. But the challenge is ongoing.
Oh, yeah.
The demand for pangolin scales persists.
Yeah.
And habitat loss continues to be a major threat.
So what else needs to be done? What are the missing pieces in this conservation puzzle?
One crucial aspect is dispelling those persistent myths about pangolin scales having medicinal properties.
Right.
That requires a sustained effort to promote scientific understanding and encourage critical thinking.
You might be surprised to learn how many people still believe in those traditional remedies, even in the face of scientific evidence to the contrary.
It's a testament to the power of cultural beliefs and the importance of approaching this issue with sensitivity and respect.
Right.
But we can't shy away from the facts.
Right.
We need to educate people about the real value of pangolins as living creatures that play a vital role in our ecosystems.
It sounds like this goes beyond traditional awareness campaigns.
It does.
We need to engage people on a deeper level, appealing to their emotions as well as their intellect.
Absolutely. Stories, imagery, and personal connections can be incredibly powerful tools.
I bet.
When people see a pangolin curled up protectively around its young or witness the devastating impact of poaching firsthand, it can evoke a strong emotional response and inspire action.
And that's where media, documentaries, and social media can play a vital role.
Right.
They can bring these stories to a wider audience
Yeah.
and help people connect with pangolins on a personal level.
Precisely.
Okay.
We need to move beyond seeing them as just another animal on the brink of extinction and recognize their unique beauty, their intelligence, and their inherent right to exist.
It's about fostering a sense of empathy and responsibility.
Right.
We need to realize that our choices as consumers, as citizens, as members of the global community, have a direct impact on the fate of these incredible creatures.
You're right.
It's heavy stuff.
Every action we take, whether it's supporting conservation organizations, choosing sustainable products, or simply talking to our friends and family about the importance of wildlife protection, contributes to the bigger picture.
It's a reminder that even small actions, when multiplied across a large enough scale, can create a ripple effect of positive change.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling a surge of optimism. It seems like there's a lot we can do to help.
There is.
But before we get to those specific actions, I'm curious to hear more about the role of scientific research in all of this.
That's a great question and one that's often overlooked. Research is essential for guiding effective conservation efforts.
Okay, let's dive into that.
Okay.
What kind of research is being done, and how does it directly help the pangolins?
Scientists are studying a wide range of aspects from their genetics and behavior to their habitat use and population dynamics. For example, they're using DNA analysis to understand pangolin populations and track their movements.
So they can identify key areas for conservation efforts and understand how different populations are connected.
Exactly.
Okay.
And by studying their behavior, we can learn more about their feeding habits, their mating rituals, and the ways they interact with their environment. This information helps us develop targeted conservation strategies that address their specific needs.
It's like building a roadmap for pangolin conservation based on solid scientific evidence.
Precisely. And research also helps us understand the threats they face in more detail.
Okay.
For example, by analyzing trade routes and seizure data, we can get a better grip on how the illegal wildlife trade operates and where interventions are needed most.
It's like a detective story, piecing together clues to crack down on the criminals who are driving this trade.
And it's not just about stopping the bad guys.
Okay.
It's also about finding ways to restore pangolin populations that have been decimated by poaching.
Now that sounds like a challenge.
It is.
How do you even begin to restore a population of animals that are so elusive and slow to reproduce?
It's definitely not easy.
My God.
But there are promising initiatives that involve captive breeding programs and reintroduction efforts.
Wait, so they're breeding pangolins in captivity and then releasing them back into the wild?
Yes, but it's a very carefully controlled process.
Oh, okay.
The goal is to create a healthy, genetically diverse population that can thrive in the wild.
Right.
It requires close collaboration between scientists, conservationists, and local communities.
It sounds incredibly complex and delicate, but also incredibly hopeful. To think that we might be able to bring back these creatures from the brink of extinction is truly inspiring.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and our capacity to make amends for the damage we've caused.
This has been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
We've gone from the depths of despair, learning about the threats facing the Indian pangolin, to a place of hope, exploring all the amazing efforts being made to protect them.
Right.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, there's always room for action and optimism.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
The story of the Indian pangolin is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the unwavering dedication of those who are fighting for its survival.
And it's a story that's still being written.
Yeah, it is.
What else lies ahead for this remarkable creature, and what role can we as individuals play in shaping its future?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore in our final segment.
Okay.
But first, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Okay.
These creatures are not just strange-looking animals. They are vital components of their ecosystems, and their decline has far-reaching consequences.
It's a reminder that we are all interconnected.
We are.
And the choices we make have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate surroundings.
They do.
All right, we're back and ready to explore what we as individuals can do to help the Indian pangolin.
Okay.
It's easy